Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Super Lunch Roast Podcast, episode number 80. I am Brendan, and we had one of the worst UFC events. We had some fun Bellator events. Was it Aspen Lad versus Norma Dumont? And then, as far as Bellator goes, Corey Anderson versus... oh, my God. I just got like a crazy, I don't know if it's allergies or I'm getting sick or something, but sorry, I'm going to struggle through this and try to get through this as fast as possible. It's kind of good. It lines up with a pretty boring week as far as MMA goes. Ryan Bader versus Corey Anderson, and then Vadim Nemkov versus Anglickas. I've heard it pronounced both ways. Anyway, all right. Before we get started, please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate that. It means a lot to me. If you like what I'm doing, if you like what I'm hearing, if you like talking about MMA, please tell somebody else about the channel. It means a lot when I have more engagement. I've actually recently had people mention the show to me, and I met someone who actually listens to my show, so it's actually pretty cool. So anyway. Let's get right into it. So, going into this weekend, I think we can all agree that this card was pretty underwhelming. One of the worst cards we've ever seen. Here, I'll show you it. If you didn't watch it, I don't blame you. It wasn't that interesting. Not a lot of prospects on there. I mean, there were some fun fights, just like anything else. So this is what was our fight. Okay, we had some fun names like Andrealowski, and why would you do that? Ugh, God, I hate when it does this. That's such a pain in the ass. Anyway, so we had some people setting records with how long they've been in the UFC and how many fights they've had, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, so in the main event, we had Aspen Lad versus Norma Dumont. All right. It was really bad. The biggest takeaway from this, Dumont gets a decision over the 5 rounds. I think I gave her all 5 rounds. And I don't know why anybody didn't give her all 5 rounds. I guess I honestly don't know what round you give to Lad. I guess I don't have a problem with it if you give 1 to her, but I would probably give all 5 to Dumont. So let's look at the most notable thing from this weekend as far as that fight goes, and that was the coaching. So in Aspen Lad's corner, she had some very aggressive coaching from, I think that's her significant other. That's what I'm seeing. Regardless, that doesn't matter. He was coming in there. He wasn't yelling, right, and like screaming in her face, but he was like in her face saying like, "What are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you doing this? Why are you throwing one punch?" And some people were very critical of his coaching, if you want to call it that. If the way he was talking to her and that kind of stuff. I don't have that big of a problem with it. Not that I think you can talk to any given person like that, nor do I think every fighter needs to be treated that way or should be talked to that way or whatever. It's one of those things where this is between him and her. Maybe he sees something, and then, like, regardless of whether or not she's about to cry, like, you're in the UFC, you're in a main event, which, by the way, this shouldn't have been. I don't know why this was the main event. It shouldn't have been 5 rounds. I know Holly Holm was supposed to be in there, but God, this was so boring. Anyway, I don't have a problem with the way he was talking. I don't have a problem with the way they interacted with each other. He didn't get violent with her. Like, he wasn't doing anything physical. I don't feel like he crossed the line. I've seen worse things in corners. I've heard less helpful advice. At least he's asking her questions like, "What are you doing? Why are you only throwing 1 punch? Like, you need to do more than that." And yeah, there wasn't a lot of technical advice there, but I don't think she was taking anything anyway. If you watch the fight and what she was doing, she was getting jabbed. Her face was getting jabbed off Lad, she moves clunky to begin with. She landed 2 strikes in the first round. 2. Count them. 2. 2, Utah. I said 2. 2 strikes in the first round. She shot for her first takedown attempt in at 2 minutes into the second round. Dude, she was waiting to counter, but never really throwing. Dumont was throwing like consistent jabs and keeping her at distance. I don't know. In the third, Dumont was like landing her 1-2. So more than just the jab, she was landing the cross as well. Oh, man. One of the worst main events I can in recent memory. Obviously, recency bias, and it was super boring. But like, this is without warrant. All right. Like, look at this crap. Lad landing 33 of 110. Okay. Dumont landing 65 of 149. I mean, that's respectable. And like, I don't think Dumont did anything wrong. Right? I think she did exactly what she had to do. And like, there was no part of this fight I felt like Dumont did anything wrong. Oh, so, okay, maybe they gave the last round to Lad because she outlanded her. Okay. I'm wrong. I was wrong. Oh, wait. No, sorry. Fourth round. Yeah, okay. I mean, there was no point in this fight where I thought that Aspen Lad was going to win. Like, no single moment, no overall. And this begs the question, right? So we talked about last week how, she missed weight and this and that, and then I kind of went in on her about, you're in charge of your body, you understand your body. So it's like someone saying who's overweight, I have a thyroid issue, or I have an issue that doesn't allow me to eat as much food, slows down my metabolism, whatever. Well, that's fine. I mean, not fine. I mean, that sucks. It's really bad, and it makes your life more difficult. But the fact that you understand that means you're actively choosing not to deal with it, right? Like, not all of us are, freaks of nature that can just pound cake and be physically fit, 365. That's not like something everybody's blessed with. All right. So you have to understand what your body can and can't do. And as far as Lads goes, like, honestly, people are saying like, oh, she should just stick up at 145. Oh, she's strong enough to be. No, she shouldn't. She's not a 145er. She can easily make 135 pounds. And this is partly because the UFC doesn't really have a 145-pound division for women. Like, there's no featherweight division for women. You can say there is, but I can show you the rankings. We did it last week. There are none. It's just Amanda Nunes. Just Amanda Nunes. She's the only one in that division according to the rankings. Listen, if you're having problems making the last couple pounds, lose 5 pounds. I don't care if it's fat or like, and this is not one of those things, like, she's not like holding on to an abnormal amount of fat, right? I think she looks like a healthy person, but she's holding on to enough of it where you can see that she can lose weight way before she needs to cut. Okay, maybe she needs to focus on that a little bit earlier and get into fight shape earlier and not blow up in between fights. Because this whole thing like, oh, well, you're a 145 or you should be at 145. Dang it. I'm not going to say that, like, I'm not going to tell her what to do with her career and her body and that kind of stuff. And if she feels more comfortable going up to 145, that's awesome. For her, I don't care. I would probably go the other way, though. I would rather... I'd rather see her be successful at 135 and maybe struggle just a little bit to make weight, or be less comfortable all year. Like, not less comfortable. Listen, losing 10 pounds is not that hard. It's just not. Cutting 10 pounds is, right? Obviously, weight cutting is an issue. We've had an issue with it ever since the inception of the UFC, blah, 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 blah. Or ever since the inception of weight classes. It's always been an issue. What I'm saying is there's a difference between losing weight and cutting weight. She can lose 10 pounds. She can. A lot. I mean, most people could do that with a little bit of willpower. And obviously she has enough. Like, she works really hard. She's highly skilled. Whatever. Just do a little bit more work in the off season, in between fights. Lose a little bit of weight so you don't have to cut as much. Even if it's 5 pounds. Whatever. Anyway, boring fight. Congratulations, Dumont. You're in the 45 division, so I guess one more win and you get a title shot. Maybe they have her fight Holly Holm again, or like it was supposed to be. All right. Carlos Philippe versus Andrealowski. Oh, man. Sorry. Hold on. Thought I was going to sneeze. All right. Carlos Philippe versus Andrealowski. I don't know if I agree with the decision. A little weird. You can see here in the first round, I gave that to Arlovsky. Second round was weird. Andre was very, like in the first round, he was very like kick heavy, but he did land some big shots, with his hands as well. He just got a little bit tired. And then in the second round, his offense fell off. And then in the third round, it was a little bit, it was closer in the third round. The first round was easily for Arlovsky, and the next two here's the problem. Felipe looks like Carlos Felipe looks like a smaller version of Derek Lewis, and he fights just like Derek Lewis does, right? Plodding forward, doing nothing, throwing big looping punches, and then, hoping to land one. And then, I mean, he also likes to make faces. Like, he was getting hit nonstop, and he's making faces. It's like making faces like, oh, that didn't do anything. No, that didn't do anything. Yeah, but he just landed 10 jabs, and now he's ahead 10-0. I don't understand. I get that you're trying to induce maybe a brawl of some sort. I don't get when I see fighters do this, like, and it like an abnormal amount, like when they're doing it a lot while getting their face punched off. It doesn't look good, right? You're not Nate Diaz moving forward and breaking them down. That's not you. I mean, if it was, and you're using it to better effect and getting an easier win, maybe we wouldn't be having this I wouldn't be having this conversation. But anyway, Andrealowski, he's fucking. Hold on a second. I'm pretty sure he is 4-1 in his last 5. Yep. 4-1 in his last 5. Beat Philippe Lenz, Tanner Bozer, lost to Tom Aspinall, and beat Chase Sherman and Carlos Philippe. The dude just hasn't gone away. Yeah, he's had a lot of losses. A lot. Remember when he went on this 5-fight loss streak? I cannot believe how long it's been. Dude, since he came back to the UFC against Brendan Schaub back in 2014, he's been in the UFC for his second or third stint. I think this is his I think this is his second stint in the UFC. For 7 years now. That's longer than most people's UFC career, period. And this is his second one, if you want to think about it like that. That's crazy. Anyway, congratulations, Arlovsky. I'm always rooting for the old man. He's got 21 wins in the UFC. Puts him 2 wins away from the record, which is Donald Cerrone with 23, I believe. All right. Here's a fun one. Jim Miller. Holy shit, Jim Miller getting the win. He has 38 fights in the UFC, which is unbelievable. Every time he fights, he sets a record because that's insane that he's fought in the octagon 38 times. He got caught early, managed to grab a foot and kind of work his way on top, and it weighed out the first round, really. He did catch Gonzalez a couple times in the first round with that straight left, and then in the second round, dude, he just lands this giant one and puts him down. It was incredible to see. Like, it's so cool when you see this because when you watch like an older fighter like this, you're expecting, the worst, really. We've had our experiences with the BJ Penns and that kind of stuff. Oh man, my nose! Holy shit! And it's hard to watch them go down, but Jim Miller just keeps on ticking, dude. God dang it! All right. Anyway. Congratulations to Jim Miller, who has 22 wins in the UFC. One more than Andrealowski, and one behind the leader, which is Donald Cerrone. So that's pretty cool. All right. Before that, sorry, I'm grasping at straws here a little bit because the rest of these are kind of whatever fights. We had Bruno. Was it? Oh, no. Firo. Yeah. Manon Firo versus Myra Buena Silva. This was an interesting fight. So I've given examples before in the past of fighters who, with constant forward pressure, getting their face punched off to where it's not effective pressure, right? Effective octagon control. Just because you're in the middle and dictating where the fight's taking place, if you're getting your face mauled, like you can see right here, Manon is in the red. She destroyed her all 3 rounds on the feet, and still and took her down and did pretty much what she wanted to do. She was never really in any danger. And then this was another person. Myra Buena Silva was constantly moving forward and getting kicked and punched, like kicked in the gut, lots of push kicks, side kicks, and then a couple head kicks. There was lots of right hands that landed, lots of jabs, and every single time she'd be like, no big deal, no big deal. Oh yeah, do that again, haha. Okay, but she just outlanded you in every single round. Maybe quit fucking making that face and move forward and do something effective. If you got beat like that and you were trying your best and moving in and using all your energy effectively and all that other stuff, and you just weren't you just didn't get the win, so be it. That shit happens. Sometimes it's not your night. You're not the better fighter on that night. Well, when all that stuff happens, but also you're talking shit mid-fight and putting your hands up like you're not getting touched, it's really depressing to see. It is, man. It's not depressing. I guess it's kind of pathetic is what it is, because again, you're not Nate Diaz. You're not putting the pressure on. You're getting destroyed out there. Please stop. Go do something else. Oh my God. Man. Okay. Again, moving down. Not a lot. This one was fun. Landwehr versus Ludovic Klein. Klein came out pretty strong in the first round, landing more variety. He did not outland Landwehr, which was interesting. I thought he did, just based off of watching it, but it was pretty close. It was 20-19 in the first round. But if you watch the fight, it seemed like Klein did more work. Klein is in the blue in here. Landwehr took some big shots early in the second, but then through grit and determination, just kept on walking forward, doing damage. And then he had an anaconda in the second, but Klein was able to get out of it. And then in the third round, Klein just did not have he just did not have the frickin' energy to fight out of it in the third, and Landwehr got the, God dang it. Not only is my nose running like crazy, but it's messing with my brain too. Landwehr got a goddamn anaconda in the third round. Looked really good, tightened it up, and frickin' Klein didn't have the energy to get out of it. Holy shit. I just watched these fights. My brain is not working. All right. I'm also not happy about the fights because they were super fucking boring. Not really. They're just not good fights. Sorry, I know this is gross. All right. Bruno Silva versus Andrew Sanchez. You want to watch here? You want to see some stats on this one? Here we go. Look at that. 4-8, 7-7. Woof. And then 22-55. So in the first and second, Sanchez maybe took a couple big shots, but really like did most of the work on the ground. He got on top and pretty much did what he. Oh, you know what I forgot to mention? In the Bueno Silva versus Fierro fight, Chris Taioni stopped the fight to prevent a nip slip. That was actually kind of nice. It was nice to see that like he stopped the action, didn't make a big deal out of it, put him back in position. Like, hey, your boob's about to fall out. Let's take a pause here. So that's kind of cool. All right, Silva started the fight with the big combo to the body of Sanchez. Sanchez did not like that, and then Silva grabbed the fence multiple times while being taken down, and then when he was on his back, Sanchez hit him in the nuts with 25 seconds left in the first, and then hit him again in the nuts right before the round ended. Silva, that one was, they both threw a kick, and Sanchez caught him in the nuts. Sanchez loses a point in the groin strike in the third. Finally, a point was taken after 3 nut shots. Silva pounding away in the third, and then Sanchez too tired to defend properly. And you can see that play out in the numbers, and Sanchez just not able to hold him off, and Bruno Silva gets the win. Plus, even if it went to a decision, it would have been a draw because he got the point deduction in the third round. So he had no way of winning that fight. Unless he won the third round, but that's not the way it was going. All right. Danny Roberts coming back. Looking great, by the way. I thought he looked really good. Oh, yeah. Mark Smith. I said I would start doing this. Holy moly. God dang. All right. I said I would start doing this. Mark Smith, again, warning somebody for almost fouling. There was a leg kick close to the cup. Shut the fuck up, Mark Smith. I said I would start paying attention to it and or start noting it. And he did it again. I told you, he's notorious for it. The next time you watch a fight, you're going to notice it too. It's really fucking annoying. Roberts' takedown defense looked so damn good, and his offensive wrestling was awesome. I thought he looked great. Round 1, I thought easily went to Roberts. Round 2, I probably would have given to Amaev. It really depends. I think the end of the round, I would have given it to Amaev. But the third round, I would have given that to Roberts. It was back and forth enough, but he was landing the bigger shots. I'd probably given that to him. So I'm okay with the decision going to Roberts because I think the right guy won. But one of the judges had it 30-27, so someone gave Roberts all 3 rounds. I don't know about that. I mean, I guess the second round was kind of close. Sort of. I wouldn't have done that. I thought that was not a bad win, like a bad decision for who won, just a bad judging call as far as like the scoring goes for that one. Godinez stepping up on 8 days notice because she just fought last week. It's actually 7 days notice, really, because she fought 1 week ago. Despite being the smaller fighter, Godinez seemed to have the edge in strength early on, but she kind of faded later. She managed to catch a kick in the first round, something we saw that Mackenzie Dern didn't do for 5 straight rounds, so that was interesting that, another female fighter could figure that out. Anyway, yeah, that's about it. I mean, it was Godinez probably won the first round. It was pretty close, but she got the grappling edge, and then in the next 2 rounds, Carolina was able to keep it on the feet enough and keep control and outstrike her. She doesn't belong at the weight class, and she was outsized pretty heavily. So, I mean, I applaud her for stepping up on short notice. I don't think this speaks poorly of her skills as a fighter or anything like that. All right, if you guys did not watch this fight, go back and watch it. It's fun. Dana Becquerel. Oh my God. Oh, I knew how to pronounce his name too. It's Dana, not Dana. So he's Mongolian, which is kind of cool. Not a lot of Mongolians in MMA. Against Brandon Davis, making his second stint in the UFC. Dude, it's just Dana just came in and just ran right through him. It was fun to watch for while it lasted. I recommend going back and watch this. This Dana might be someone to look out for in that division going forward. And then opening up the card, we had Carnelossi versus Nunes. Just some notes on this one. If you guys don't know who Ariane Carnelossi is, well, let's pull up a picture so you guys can see. All right. So this woman right here, has passed all of her drug tests. I made this joke last time. Not even a joke. I made a comment about it last time about how, you know, she clearly is either on the juice or has been on the juice recently, or not recently. She has been on it at some point in her life. I saw Twitter maybe making more comments about it this time than last time. I noticed more jokes. I don't know why, but I figured, like, I mentioned it last time, and I thought it was kind of funny that other people were taking notice. She clearly has been on stuff. You don't have that kind of shoulder development, that jaw development, and those traps as a female. It just doesn't happen, like, naturally. There's nothing wrong with her choosing to do that, but obviously the rules are the rules, and she's not following them, right? But her passing the test means that there's some serious lapses and serious gaps as far as the USADA testing goes, because something's amiss, all right? So Nunes was able to outland her in all 3 rounds. It's just Carnelossi was just throwing bigger shots, landing more, and then in the 3rd round, she gets a rear naked choke. Not landing more. She was throwing bigger shots, landing heavy. Oh, yeah, okay, so Nunes grabbed the fence hard a couple times in the 1st round, like to start it out, and then Carnelossi grabbed the fence to hold her there in the 1st round, so those penalties would have canceled out had they been deducted, which they should have. It's a shit show. There were eye pokes, and it was just a mess. And then obviously with Carnelossi looking how she looks, I'm not a fan of people just outright getting away with it when it's that. Like, again, I don't care if people choose to use it. It's one of those things where, like, those are the rules and everybody else is following them, so you should too. I'm just kidding. We all know everybody's on shit. Everybody's on steroids. Right, Nick? Anyway. It's some Bellator fights. Like I said, this is going to be quick. Bellator 268 over the weekend. We had what's his face? Benson Henderson fighting Brent Primus and losing. I mean, I thought it was a decent. It was a fun fight. I think this is one of the better fights I've seen from Benson Henderson in recent memory. He's throwing like decent kicks, staying aggressive, doing the things that he normally did when he was, you know, making his run as a UFC champ and back in WC days. But he just didn't get the win. Brent Primus was able to get the win. Corey Anderson gets a TKO win over Ryan Bader. He caught him with the right hand right behind the ear of Bader, that is. And he goes to go to the finals against Vadim Nemkov, who defeated Julius Anglickas via Kimura in the 4th round. So this is fun. Like, this light heavyweight tournament is fun. I don't know if it's better than the UFC light heavyweight division. Somebody made a comment like saying that Corey Anderson excelling in the Bellator light heavyweight division but not being able to be top 5 in the UFC speaks volumes for the Bellator light heavyweight division. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that I think that Corey Anderson was definitely a top 5 talent. The fact that he never reached there, it was kind of BS. It was the scheduling. Dude, I think he could have been the champ given the right timing, right? Like him versus Reyes, like he might have been champ or something like that. It's just one of those ones where it didn't line up for him, and he never got the opportunity to fight for a title, even though he was on like a 5-fight win streak at one point. It's very similar to what happened with Curtis Blades in the heavyweight division, where he could have been the champ. Maybe he wouldn't have, but he never got the opportunity, even though he meritocratically earned it, is how I felt about it. And Corey Anderson, also, this is speculation. Also, I've met people who know him, but it's all speculation. It doesn't matter. I remember when he first started in the UFC, he had bad gynecomastia from. It's a side effect of when you get off the juice. Some people get that. And, eventually it went away. Here's another thing. Like, they don't have USADA testing in Bellator, so they're not testing you outside of competition the same way. They're not doing they're not showing up to your house at 3 a.m. and telling you to piss in a cup and that kind of stuff. So maybe he found a way to be healthier year-round, and it's helping out his training and allowing him to excel again. Maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe Ryan Bader, same thing for him, why he was successful in Bellator and looking better in general than he did when he was in the UFC. Although he went on a win streak too and never got the opportunity, I thought he should have fought for the title as well. So, I think it's going to be fun. I think Nemkov versus Corey Anderson's going to be a fun fight. I think it's cool that Corey Anderson finally gets to fight for a title. I really think that. That's pretty much it. There was a little bit of boxing over the weekend, but nothing that other than hardcores would notice. Yeah, that's it. I think we're gonna call it on that one. Keep this one super short. Also, I think I'm gonna die. It was how bad my it's. I don't understand how my sinuses work. Because yesterday I was fine. This morning, woke up feeling fine. And then 20 minutes later, all of this starts. And then it just doesn't stop. Like, I don't get it. It's driving me freaking crazy. Anyway, if you made it this far, I really appreciate it. I do. It means a lot to me that you listen to what I'm saying, that you're interested in what I'm saying, and that you're interested in MMA in general. I think I really do believe it's the best sport on the planet. I think it's the most fun sport, the purest sport. I think it's the most fun to watch. It hasn't ruined all other sports for me, but I definitely don't find other sports as interesting to watch anymore. Because the physical sport, especially the physical ones like football, I no longer find interesting because it's just a pseudo version of fighting, right? Like, there's lots of physicality, but I know that these guys aren't they're not the biggest and the strongest. That's where powerlifters go in. They're not the fastest. That's where the track stars go. They're not the toughest. That's where the UFC is. It's like when I was a kid, NFL athletes were the best athletes on the planet, and they might still be that because that's where the money is and that's where they go. But I find basketball much more interesting than NFL. Like NBA, I find more interesting. I'm not into baseball. Never have been. So it really is the best sport, and finding other people with the same passion as me is pretty cool. So, damn runny nose. If you made it through and you listen to me constantly trying to not sneeze and seeing my eyes water, I'd really appreciate it if you gave a like and subscribe. Go back and watch some of my older videos. If you're going back and watching some of the old UFC events, go back and I have pretty much for the last year, I have a video on each event. So you could pair it with it. You could watch it afterwards. You could watch it before. I do mention some which are exciting. So if you want to preview and kind of oh, hey, this one isn't that great. And you can also kind of pick and choose that way. So really appreciate it. Love the support. Love everybody out there. And I hope everybody has an awesome week.